So when I kind of started leaning into the space, was there anything there that you wanted? Okay, go Shannon.
That became, with the sound, it was okay because it was clear where you could go. But when you were an obstacle, when we were just side by side and not touching, it was hard to maneuver. You were just body energy with them having no idea that you're in front of them. That was hard to negotiate.
So just find some space. Now I want you to do the same sound, or whatever sound works better. Maybe you have to find a new sound. I want you to find more space between the two of you. And remember, you're responsible. You're responsible for your partner. So have a little bit more space. So maintain like 5 feet distance at the least. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, so 10 feet distance between you. Okay. So establish your sound. When one eye's closed. And whenever you're ready.
You really do.
Maybe.
You really do. You really do.
Mimi.
You really do.
Mimi.
You really do.
Mimi.
I'm Patrick Lundeen from Edmonton, Alberta. My training's in acting. I went to the National Theatre School for 3 years, graduated in 2009, and this is probably round 2 of my training. Actually, I went to Vancouver for a bit of extra training with Scott Swan at Seacoast Studios. I was sort of apprenticing as a director under him and doing a bit of acting training for film and television. And then I was there for 6 months, and then I went to Edmonton and started a non-for-profit arts organization called Edmonton's Common Ground Art Society. And that we produced a bunch of multidisciplinary art shows with dancers and musicians and visual arts and drama at Avenue Theatre. And then about 4 months into that process, I got a job offer to be the theatre manager at Avenue Theatre, and I spent about 2 years turning that building into a bit more of a progressive multidisciplinary arts space for emerging artists. And then I auditioned for this program, and here I am. It's been a bit of a blast from the past as far as getting back in touch with my training from a few years ago, and been a lot about sort of getting back in touch with why I wanted and chose to do this for a living and as my passion in the first place, and kind of getting rid of old habits that have creeped back and rediscovering everything inside myself that makes me enjoy the arts and enjoy getting involved with telling stories and being present in a moment and living with an open heart and mind. What surprised me? I'm surprised at how different all the people are in the class and the age groups that we have, but then also how well everybody's getting along. Normally when you put 14 people together in a room, and I mean, we're literally like in a room 24/7 together, and then the school ends and we're still just like in a hallway or in a room with someone else, but we're all getting along so well. And I think part of it is just the environment we have here in Banff, and the mentors that are sort of guiding us, creating this energy that's making it so that we're all able to accept each other and be together in this journey. And you know, it's that's been really surprising, and it's also surprised me how I'm able to function with fairly little sleep, simply because I think it's just the movement classes and the voice classes and getting in touch with my body and eating healthy 3 times a day, and just the simple things like that make these long days possible. Why am I an actor? I suppose ever since I was little, I have always enjoyed playing and had a wild imagination. And another thing about me is I'm very, very connected to people, and I care very, very deeply about people, and making sure that people are happy and they have a feeling of purpose for themselves. And I've always just found humanity extremely interesting, and what it is that makes people tick, and why people think the way they do, and why people do the things they do, and why society has moved in the direction it has. And I suppose there's just so many questions that are worth exploring, and I don't think there's any better medium to explore it other than the theater. And I enjoy acting, I enjoy directing. I think I enjoy acting because I get to find parts within myself and bring them to the surface and explore what's going on inside myself emotionally to better understand myself and also the world and people around me. And it's fucking fun too. That's the other thing, it's just fun. It's that play that I had when I was a little kid, and it still is there, and I am so thankful for it. Favorite playwright? I think I have to say William Shakespeare. I think just the way he's able to create believable characters that have such an emotional depth and intellectual depth, and he's able to have funny moments followed quickly by something that just rips your heart out, and he understands humanity. And I think I'm so fascinated by the fact that he walked on the planet 600 years ago, and all of it is still relevant today. And between the different imaginative plays, the imagination he has in Midsummer Night's Dream, and the knowledge he had to write all of his history plays, and what he was doing and what he served as a playwright in the time he lived in is just magnificent. Like it's almost unimaginable to think about what those plays must have been like for the people who went out and saw them, and how much they must have learned, and how he contributed and created this wealth of knowledge for civilization that still is benefiting from it 650 years ago. I realized yesterday that I had been sort of spending the first few days in a nervous fit, and I was anxious, and it was sort of bad habits coming up that have been following me throughout my life. And then a bunch of my mentors said that I needed to relax, and I needed to just, what was the word that Bob used yesterday? Find ease. And I realized that that didn't apply only to my work as an actor, but it also applied to me as a human being. And I think for yesterday I set this goal to find ease, and I sort of set my self-word on that, and it worked really, really well. And I went to my room and I felt inspired and I felt good about myself, and I said I was going to do the same thing the next day except for a different goal, while not letting go of the other goal. So I'm thinking I'm just going to every day set a new goal for myself, and if I don't get one goal one day, I might just try it again the next day and go from there, and try to just sort of keep a constant spread on everything while I'm training. And once I get back to Edmonton, my goal is to keep all of those things that I've been learning and all the goals that I've made for myself and keep them afloat, whilst then remembering that I now have a job to do, and that's to serve the play and serve the director and serve my part, and do everything I can 12 hours a day to make sure that I'm taking good care of myself so that I can show up at rehearsal and offer as much as I can and be there physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and ride that and keep that energy going and contribute to the company, and right up till the bitter end of the closing show.